Come along, folks, and listen to the tale of Hawk Larabee on the Western Trail. Come-a-tie-yi, yippee-yippee-yi, yippee-yi. Come-a-tie-yi, yippee-yippee-yi.
Larabee's the name. Hawk Larabee.
He's rode every trail across the lone prairie, as sure as his name's Hawk Larabee. Come-a-tie-yi, yippee-yippee-yi, yippee-yi. Come-a-tie-yi, yippee-yippee-yi.
Can't you see that?
No. You want them to hang Lucius. And you want to run me out of business.
That beau of yours is guilty, and he ought to swing. But I'm making an offer for this store. My final offer.
Get out, I said. Morgan Bryce.
Bryce, the lady asked you to leave.
What?
Where'd you come from?
Well, never mind that.
Oh, please, stranger, don't cause any more trouble.
The name is Hawk Larabee, ma'am. Looks to me like Bryce here's the one that's stirring up trouble, not me.
What's your cut in this deal, Larabee?
Well, sir, I'm just a fella from Texas that don't like seeing a darn saddle bum yelling at a pretty girl.
Faraday, today's the trial. Now, I could put in a good word for Lucius, but I sure won't feel inclined to now.
But he isn't guilty.
No? Well, I'll tell you what I'm beginning to suspect, Miss Verity Collins.
What?
Maybe you and that Lucius Budlong was both in on killing your Uncle Fred.
That's a lie. How can you say that?
Fred Collins didn't want you marrying Lucius. Him and Lucius quarreled. So the pair of you figured to get him out of the way. Then you'd both have the store.
I don't want this store, and Lucius doesn't want it. He's a lawyer, not a clerk.
Lawyer? What lawing did he ever do?
Well, he hasn't had a chance in this town, that's all.
Well, you had your chance. But now I'm going to see that everybody hears my opinion of this killing.
You wouldn't.
Oh, wouldn't I?
Bryce, you know something? I've been mighty darn patient for you. But now you're going out that door, walking or flying, just suit yourself.
Well, you can't talk like that. My wrist.
Don't never make a mistake of pulling that Pee Wee 41 on me again. I'm toting a 45 like most everybody else, and it'll put a hole in you big enough for your head.
Why, you...
I'll just unload this pistol of yours. There. Now I don't reckon you shoot me in the back. Get to moving, Bryce.
I'll see you later, Hawk Larabee.
I'm afraid you've made a dangerous enemy.
Oh, don't pay no attention to him. Lots of folks don't like me. How long has he been in town, anyhow?
About a month, right after the strike.
He sure does aim to take over this store.
Bryce tried to buy out my Uncle Fred.
He wouldn't sell, did he?
My Uncle Fred only cared for one thing in life, this store.
And he winds up dead.
Yes. Everybody in town thinks Lucius did it.
Well, if him and your uncle quarrel like Bryce said...
Lucius couldn't do such a thing.
And the trial is today?
Yeah. And they'll hang him. I've been trying to help, but no one will listen to me.
Well, folks around here don't like your Lucius, huh?
No.
Well, why?
I don't know. Because he's different from them, I guess.
Because he's got his nose in a law book most of the time?
Yeah, that's partly it.
Well, I come in for a can of saddle soap.
Should have got it at Bryce's. He's selling it for a quarter. Our price is $3.
$3?
Well, since the gold strike, our freighting costs have gone up 10 times, and even then there is little profit.
Yeah, I understand.
Here's your saddle soap, Mr. Larabee.
Larabee. It's Hawk to my friend.
All right, Hawk.
Well, adios, Miss Verity.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh, by the way,
Yes?
whereabouts they got Lucius pinned up at?
At the jail, 2 blocks down. You can't miss it.
I don't reckon I will.
Good luck. Oh, please have good luck.
That's what comes of being fiddle-footed. You're always bumping into trouble. But I guess I'm kind of soft when there's a gal as pretty as that Verity Collins around. It could be that her Lucius did murder Uncle Fred Collins, but it wouldn't hurt none to see the number anyhow. The jail office is closed, but I heard somebody hammering and sawing in the lot out back. A minute later, I was introducing myself to a gent by the name of Somber Jones, the town marshal. Well, after we shook hands, I asked him what he was building.
Why, that's a new scaffold.
Oh, you mean there's going to be a hanging?
Reckon so.
Lucius?
Yeah. He'd been better off if he'd never been born.
You figure Lucius is guilty?
I ain't said so, Larabee.
Then what you building this scaffold for?
Scaffold's gonna be permanent this time. Mulberry Creek is booming, and we'll be needing it regular.
I'm asking you again. Do you figure Lucius is guilty?
I'm marshal of this sinful town. Ain't my place to say.
Well, I reckon that's my answer. You don't think Lucius killed Fred Collins at all, do you?
Even so, you ain't gonna talk me into turning him loose.
Suppose a mob tries to bust into the jail.
Well, I got me a sawed-off shotgun to take care of that. If anybody tries it.
And this trial is just going to be a formality then.
Never said it wasn't.
Any 12 men in this town will vote him guilty without taking time to blow their suds off with a darn beer.
Sometimes sure is trying. This job of upholding the dignity of the law. Verity ought to marry Lucius and live happily ever after, like they do in books.
What time is the trial?
After sundown. Boys won't leave the diggings till dark. They want to be in on the fun.
Fun? Hanging a man is fun?
Well, that's their idea, not mine.
And you're going to let them string up a man that might be innocent?
Maybe he ain't innocent.
You practically said he was.
Well, doggone it, I never have thought he put a bullet in Fred Collins.
Well, then who did?
Can't sabe. Collins was an ornery old buzzard. Treated Verity pretty bad. Lots of folks would have been glad to shoot him.
Well, I come over here to see Lucius. How about it?
I won't trust you inside the jail, Hawk. But there's a cell window yonder.
Oh. Well, then that'll have to do. I seen I wasn't going to get no place with Somber Jones. I walked over to the jail, looked through the barred window, and seen Lucius sitting on the edge of a bunk, staring calmly up at me out of a pair of steel-rimmed spectacles.
Hello.
Howdy. I'm Hawk Larabee.
I'm, Lucius Budlong.
Yeah, I know.
You wanted to see me?
How in thunder can you just sit there so darn calm and collected?
If one allows oneself to become upset, well, one can't think clearly.
Yourself, myself, oneself. Don't go pulling that fancy talk on me, son. Can't you hear them hammers and them saws out there?
I've grown accustomed to the sound by now.
Do you know what it means?
Of course, they're building a gallows to hang me. I'll have to admit I'm upset, though I try not to show it.
You get upset, all right, when you're standing over the trap.
I doubt if that will happen. You see, I'm a lawyer.
Oh, you're going to need more than law to get you out of this mess, Lucius.
I'm innocent, Larabee. I have faith in our courts.
Well, so have I, usually. But this is Mulberry Creek. The boys is pouring into town from all points of the compass. They're after gold, and they ain't particular about seeing that you get a square deal.
I'll tell the truth at the trial. You see, I was in my cabin at the edge of town when Fred Collins was murdered.
That's what I heard. But, if you didn't kill him, then who did?
Well, it was someone who knew Fred Collins. Someone who knew him well enough to get him to open his door at night.
Well, how about Morgan Bryce? He sure is bent on putting a rope around your neck.
Well, that's just a simple matter of jealousy.
Oh, he don't like it because Verity's in love with you.
Well, he asked her to marry him.
If Bryce heard about the fight you and Fred Collins had over Verity, why, then he could shoot the old man and have a good excuse to frame you.
I do know that Bryce wanted the store.
And the old man refused to sell it to him. Well, that gives Bryce a double-barrel reason for getting rid of it.
Lots of people would like the store. There's a lot of fine stock of merchandise. Now, if I can only just bring all this out of the trial...
Lucius, you ain't got none too much time. They'll be trying you right after sundown. And if you ain't swinging a half hour later, then my name ain't Hawk Larabee.
You're about as mournful as Somber Jones.
Oh, I hope I don't never get that mournful.
Just a mournful world, Hawk Larabee.
But, Somber Jones, what you doing sneaking up like that?
Just thought I'd better come over and see if you'd pulled out any window bars or chewed a hole in the wall.
Well, I ain't, but I sure do feel like it.
It's sure funny how a pretty gal like Verity can get a man so all-fired worked up that he'll defy law and order to help her out.
There ain't nobody defied no law and order.
Well,
Not yet. Lucius, keep your chin up.
Thanks, Hawk Larabee.
In spite of Somber Jones, the world ain't such a bad place.
I'll see you at the trial.
Come on, Somber.
Comataya, yippee, yippee, He's rolled every trail across the lone prairie, as sure as his name's Hawk
It
Larabee.
got dark early in Mulberry Creek, and when the sun went down, I was just going into Morgan Bryce's tent where he had a store at. A big kerosene lamp hanging from a ridgepole had just been lit. I was looking around when a clerk come up to me and says,
Howdy, stranger. We got picks, shovels, grub, anything you need for mining.
What brand of shovels you got?
Acme, the best.
Oh, I don't know. I like a Regent. Maybe better.
Well, we ain't got Regent.
I heard they carry 'em at the Collins Mercantile.
You don't want to trade there, stranger.
Well, why don't I?
Well, prices are high.
How come they ain't high here?
Mr. Bryce is aiming to give folks a good start.
No, good start.
Yeah, he believes you'll be buying from him a long time.
And then he'll raise prices?
Well, sure, naturally.
Yeah. As soon as he runs Verity Collins out of business and ain't no more competition.
What gives you that idea?
Oh, just something that I heard. I'm a stranger here myself.
You better watch what you go saying about Morgan Bryce. He's kingpin around here.
Oh, well, I sure don't aim to slander no kingpin.
Now, what about selling you a shovel?
Tomorrow, maybe. I want to get on over and see him string up that Lucius fella.
I'll be there, too, stranger.
I guess there ain't much chance of finding him not guilty, is there?
Nope.
I heard the town marshal was snooping around looking for a bullet or something.
Yep, that's what they tell me. Won't do him no good, though.
Well, he must figure that there bullet's mighty important. Maybe he can find out who done the killing.
Somber Jones had better save his time. We're taking care of that Lucius with or without a trial. He killed Fred Collins, and everybody knows it.
Yeah. Well, I got to be moving along.
Don't forget that shovel tomorrow.
It began to look like my little scheme had blowed up right in my face. There wasn't going to be time enough to work out all the details because Lucius was due for a hanging any way you looked at it. Well, I was just heading for the door when I seen Morgan Bryce blocking my way and looking as mad as a bronco wearing his first saddle.
Hold it, Larabee.
What you want, Bryce?
I heard you've been stirring up Somber Jones.
What give you that idea?
Adding 2 and 2.
And, what kind of an answer did you get?
It adds up to you getting out of town. Pronto.
If I don't figure I want to go?
Then you might stay here, permanently, in a pine box.
That's mighty big talk from a gent who just got his wrist slapped a while ago for pulling a gun.
You were lucky that time, Larabee. Gun sight caught in my holster when I drew. Otherwise, you'd be dead.
Well, I ain't dead. I'm pretty much alive.
I'm just telling you once. Drift, hit the trail.
Bryce, that hombre was making talk about you.
Well, what'd he say, Joe?
He said you was trying to run Verity Collins out of business.
Fellas, let's give this Hawk Larabee something else to think about.
What do you mean, Bryce?
Boys, let's show Larabee he can't butt in here at Mulberry Creek.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Some of you heat up a barrel of tar and get some chicken feathers. After we take care of the hanging and see it's done proper, we'll start on Larabee.
I ain't going to wear no tar and feathers for overcoat, Bryce. Not now.
No, never. Look out, Bryce. He's got the light. He shut out the light.
Which way to go?
That way.
Blasted dark, I can't see a thing. Somebody get him!
I got under that tent wall like I was riding the tail of a Texas norther. Before anybody could get a lantern lit, I was heading down the alley where I had my white horse, Blanco, tied to a fence. I piled in the saddle and lit out for the jailhouse. In a minute, I could see Somber Jones standing there in front.
What's the shooting about?
Never mind that, Somber.
Hey, what you doing with that gun?
Inside the jail, quick.
All right. What you aiming to do, Hawk?
I'm going to take Lucius out of here.
I done my part, and this is how you pay me off. Doc Ramsey did have 2 bullets. Here, look at them.
Yeah, it's just what I figured.
Figured what?
Never mind. Get that cell open.
Now, keep your britches on. Keep your britches on.
How come you ain't putting up a fuss, Somber? Ain't I defying the law?
Nope. I done resigned.
Resign?
Yeah. I couldn't let a prisoner escape if I was wearing a badge, could I?
Well, no.
No, so I'm what you call a private citizen now. There's my resignation, all made out and stuck in a pigeonhole to that desk there.
Well, I reckon I was wrong about you.
Come on out, Lucius. You're free.
Free? I'm free. Why, Hawk Larabee, what does this mean?
It means you getting out of town, son. Pronto.
What about Verity?
She can join you later. Who's that out there, Somber?
It's Verity.
Hawk, Morgan Bryce has stirred up a lynching mob. They're coming here and they're... Oh, Lucius.
Verity.
They can't take you, Lucius.
I can see him through the window, Hawk. Too late to run for it.
Hawk, give me a gun. This is my fight.
Don't go being a hero now, Lucius. Stay here with Verity. You too, Somber.
Looks like you've sort of taken over, Hawk.
Yeah, it does, don't it? Now give me that sawed-off shotgun you was bragging about this afternoon.
There you are.
Now, cover me from the window, Somber.
I'll be right with him, Hawk.
Good. Well, here goes.
Hawk Larabee!
That's right, Bryce. That's far enough, boy.
What's the meaning of this?
I got a sawed-off shotgun. And buckshot ain't particular who and where it hits. Yeah. Take a look at these two slugs I'm tossing over, boys. It's light enough from the jail window.
Well, what about them?
Are they from a 45?
It looks like a 41 to me. Where'd you get them at?
Them is the slugs that come out of Fred Collins' body. Doc Ramsey had 'em.
What are you trying to prove, Larabee?
That you killed Fred Collins, Bryce. You better be careful, Bryce. You're wearing a strange gun tonight. Might slow down your draw.
The man's got a right to own more than one gun, Larabee.
I reckon so. But you was mighty careful to take off that 41 you was wearing this afternoon when me and you tangled at the Collins store.
No law against shedding the gun.
Maybe you was worried that Somber Jones would find out that Collins was shot with a 41.
I'm not the only man with a 41.
But you may be the only one in town with a 41 who had reason for shooting Collins. What?
That still don't prove nothing.
All right, then. Listen at this. Listen to me. I dug up a couple of witnesses.
Witnesses?
Yeah.
What?
2 men. Boys, you want to hear what they said?
Sure. Don't listen to him. It's a trick.
Trick or not, I want to hear what he's got to say.
That's right. All right, Bryce. These 2 witnesses say that when Fred Collins come to the door the night he was killed, just before he was shot, he called out your name.
He did not.
If you wasn't there, how do you know he didn't call out your name?
What about that, Bryce?
Don't believe him, boys.
Hold it, Bryce. Hold it, or I'll let you have both barrels.
Don't shoot, Larabee.
Get him, boys!
We got him, Larabee, and we're gonna keep him.
It's funny how you can bluff a fella sometimes. That's the trouble with killing him, man. You can't never be sure somebody didn't see you do it. Well, later, Somber Jones turned to Lucius and said,
I figure now you'll get all the law and you can take care of here in Mulberry Creek.
And I'm going to let Joe run the store for me. Uncle Fred would have liked that.
oh, sure. You got to be a lawyer's wife, honey.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that folks here in town will like me.
Why, of course they will. And, Lucius, if you ever get the feeling you're kind of runted like, well, just remember this. With a 45 in your hand, you're 6 foot tall, and you're broad enough to spit in the devil's own eye.
And someday, Lucius, if me and Hawk ever get into trouble, which I expect we will, I'd sure get you to lawyer for us in court.
It was about midnight when I rode out of Mulberry Creek, but I wasn't by myself. Somber Jones was riding at my side.
Where are we heading, Hawk?
Over San Marcos way.
What's over there?
I just found out that there's a sheep and cattle war brewing.
Mind if I ride along? Though we probably both get shot up or lynched.
I'll take a chance.
Hawk, take a look back yonder. You see, you can see the scaffold out behind the jail, looking kind of ghostly in the moonlight.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure glad things turned out like they did with Bryce, I mean.
Well, how's that?
Sure been a blight on my record as Marshal of Mulberry Creek if I had the dang thing built and then it wasn't used.
He gained more renown as he rode the trail from town to town. Comatai, yippee, 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 Comatai, yippee, yippee. He woke one morning on the western trail, a rope in his hand and a cow by the tail. Comatai, yippee, 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 Comatai, yippee, yippee,